butter cow. An annual tradition at the Illinois State Fair, which officially kicks open today. I think this is the 104th butter cow. Apparently there are 13 hearts hidden all throughout it to highlight the 13 nutrients that are in butter and dairy products. All right, so yeah, there you go. There's the butter cow. Look at in all of its glory. You got an artist that does this each year. They craft like hundreds of pounds of butter, and it's a surprisingly big attraction at the Illinois State Fair. All right, it's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. As you saw, the butter cow there. Governor J.B. Pritzker was unveiling that with First Lady M.K. Pritzker, and they had the agricultural officials there and dairy officials there, and it's really kind of like the unofficial opening of the Illinois State Fair. Governor J.B. Pritzker today will be at the main gate of the State Fairgrounds to cut the ribbon officially opening the Illinois State Fair, the 11-day expo that's going to be at the Illinois State Fairgrounds. It's a big ordeal. Hundreds of thousands of people are going to be coming through throughout the next 10 days or so, and a lot of grandstand concerts, so a lot of politics going to be had as well. But one thing that's going to be dominating is the fair maps issue and whether or not states should gerrymander for politics. Now, this obviously has erupted after you had Texas Democrats come to Illinois, avoiding a vote on redistricting down in Texas in the Lone Star State. And they came to Illinois, they went to California, they went to New York, all of these Democrat-run states, because Republicans have the majority in Texas, and they're going to move forward with changing their maps. But they had a quorum of 2/3 of the General Assembly there has to be in for them to conduct a business. And that hasn't happened because Democrats fled on Sunday, some coming to Illinois, and we've talked about it for the past week now, as here we are Thursday, and we're still talking about this because it's a pretty big issue. So Republicans in Texas looking to change the legislative or the congressional maps to give Republicans 5 more seats in Congress. And that's had people saying, well, that's against the rules. I don't think there are rules as to when states can change their maps. They can change their maps in the middle of the 10-year cycle from when the census is done, and it has to be based, a reapportionment of Congress has to be based off of census numbers, and states have the ability to redraw their maps. But it's sparked this debate. Should we get rid of gerrymandering? How do we get rid of gerrymandering? And is it hypocritical for Democrats like Governor J.B. Pritzker, who just signed a very gerrymandered map in 2021? Is it hypocritical for him to criticize Texas for doing this? And it's gotten to a point, too, where there was a bomb threat at a hotel that some Texas Democrats were staying at in St. Charles, Illinois, that was reported yesterday. And Governor J.B. Pritzker, after unveiling the butter cow, was asked about that and the steps that he's taking with the state of Illinois to address public safety for these Texas Democrats.
Let me be clear, they're welcome. These lawmakers are welcome in the state of Illinois. So are Texas Rangers. They can go visit the lakefront in Chicago. They can come to the state fair, but they're not arresting and taking anybody away from Illinois. As to the FBI, there is no federal law that prevents the legislators from Texas from coming to the state and spending their time here and breaking quorum in the state of Texas. There's been a civil warrant issued by none other than the Republican Speaker of the House of Texas. A civil warrant, as you know, does not allow the Texas Rangers or anybody in Texas to grab anybody outside of the state of Texas. So we're very proud to have them here. Frankly, they're heroes. These are people who are standing up for democracy, and we're going to do everything we can to protect them while they're here in our state.
What steps have you taken to protect them?
So, as you know, as you pointed out, there was a bomb threat this morning at a hotel that some of them are staying at. Last night there was a right-wing podcaster who took a video of where they're staying, posted it, put a map up to point out exactly what hotel they're at. That happened before the bomb threat was issued. And I have to say, we've had to react from a law enforcement perspective here in the state by calling our state police, local law enforcement, making sure that they're protecting the people who are staying at that hotel, including the Texas visitors that we have. And so that's state law enforcement. Whenever there is a law that is broken, and a law was broken, they're doing an investigation. They're going to seek out, hunt down, and find the perpetrators.
So again,
Yes,
Governor
sir.
J.B. Pritzker yesterday in front of the Butter Cow, taking questions about public safety, the issue of gerrymandered maps down in Texas versus Illinois gerrymandered maps, in anticipation of what some of the governor has said previously and expected to have said yesterday. I talked with Republican State Representative Ryan Spain yesterday morning, and here's some of what he had to say about the ongoing conversation that Illinois is injecting itself into about gerrymandering down in Texas.
Yeah, I'm glad that we have redistricting and gerrymandering now as a national topic. We've been trying to talk about it in Illinois because Illinois is the poster child of egregious gerrymandering. We have the most gerrymandered congressional districts and legislative districts in the nation. So I think the topic is important. I think no states should be doubling down further on gerrymandering, but I think that we have a lot of problems in the state of Illinois that need to be corrected as well. And so we could start with leading forward on how we are going to prevent gerrymandering in our state in the future.
Now, Governor J.B. Pritzker, before he was elected, was asked about a commitment to a fair map process and would he support the idea of an independent map-making commission. Back then, he said yes, but then when the new maps were being collected and drawn by Democrats at the State House, them picking their voters instead of voters picking their elected representatives, as the criticism goes, and even Illinois' maps were given a F grade by civic organizations. Regardless, you had Governor J.B. Pritzker sign those maps, and he says he does want fair maps, but he wants it across the country.
Look, I think we should have an independent commission. We should have one nationally so that there's no dispute about it. But when they throw the rule book out, as Donald Trump and Greg Abbott have, when Republican states are more often gerrymandering than Democratic states are, and when Democratic states have already, some of them had independent commissions, it seems like all bets are off. We've got to consider all the options when they're trying to take democracy away. Look, there are 5 districts in Texas that Donald Trump says he is entitled to have turned over to Republicans. You know what those 5 districts are? They're 5 districts that are legal under the Voting Rights Act, that are represented by black and brown people and represent black and brown people. And I might say that when we passed our maps here, fully legal, compliant constitutionally and with the Voting Rights Act. And so I'm very proud of that fact, and proud of the fact that the people of Texas, the Democrats from Texas that are here, are standing up for the democratic principles that we believe in the state of Illinois.
You know, he's said it before that the Texas Democrats are his heroes. We'll touch on that again here in a moment. But he also said that they're throwing the rule book out. And again, I don't know if there's any rule book that says states can't redraw their districts. That's what states do. From the research I've done, it's happened before, mid 10-year cycle, and it's got, the states have the ability to do that. State legislatures, they of course have to conform with the numbers from the census and comply with previous Supreme Court precedent on what's allowed, and outside of that, they can redraw maps. So I don't know if there's like a specific political rule book, or unless it's like an unspoken rule. But either way, State Representative Ryan Spain, Republican for Peoria, he said that, listen, in Illinois, there have been previous attempts to try to get a fair map-making commission independent from legislators drawing the districts themselves. And he says that, these attempts blocked in the courts by politically connected people.
Sure. I mean, you saw one of the Madigan operatives in John Hooker just be sentenced to prison for his role in the ComEd bribery scandal. He was the plaintiff that was used to defeat the Fair Maps Amendment in the state of Illinois 10 years ago. So we need to do that again. It would be nice if we had a governor that supported that effort, like the governor that we do have promised he would do, and pledged to veto any partisan gerrymandering maps. Of course, he signed the legislative maps, and he also signed the congressional maps that are at issue right now. And I thought it was particularly interesting to see Stephen Colbert hold up the current Illinois congressional maps and make a mockery of them to our governor. Our governor signed those maps and approved them.
So Spain talking about Pritzker's appearance on CBS's Colbert show Tuesday night, and this is just a small clip of that.
They're there like that, and look at this one. Kind of goes whoop up there. It's like the stinger on a scorpion down here. Is this common for all states to do?
Well, we handed it over to a kindergarten class and let them decide.
Okay, and that's the nonpartisan group that does this
Absolutely.
for you guys?
That's our independent commission, you know.
So the governor making jokes about Illinois' what's widely criticized as deeply gerrymandered state. And you saw there, of course, the map. You guys are familiar with it. Spain says all's fun and joking around, but this is serious.
Yeah, so he did. I think the second segment was kind of like, nice, lighthearted, talking about his family, and that was fine. But the first section was all about redistricting and harboring the Texas legislators. But then Colbert pulls up our congressional map and says, "What is this? I mean, this is crazy." And the governor said, "Well, we had kindergartners draw it." And that's a funny line, but the reality is, the map was drawn by incumbent Democrats. And when you talk about gerrymandering, you have to look at the Illinois congressional map as the most egregious example of gerrymandering gone wild in America. And quite frankly, there's no possibility that you could squeeze out another Republican seat from the state of Illinois. You'd have to destroy Nikki Budzinski's district. You'd have to damage Eric Sorensen's district. It's just not possible. The gerrymandering has been expert level. And quite frankly, if Texas is successful in what they are attempting to do with creating 5 additional Republican seats, and again, I fully disagree with what they're doing in Texas. I think it's wrong. But if they do it, their map still will not be as lopsided as the current map that has been in place for the state of Illinois for our congressional districts.
Again, the idea of the maps and how unfair Republicans say they are, it's clearly something that is something that's going to be continue to be debated all throughout the rest of the summer. We'll see obviously what the state legislature does in Texas. Will Illinois come back and do that as well? Here's more of Representative Spain critical of the governor, talking about the need for changing the quorum rules in Illinois and the kind of ironic situation Illinois is in of allowing for non-citizens to come to Illinois and also now having Democrats legislators from Texas come to Illinois while Illinoisans are fleeing to places like Texas, and not just for a little getaway, they're moving there.
Yeah, it's the irony shouldn't be lost on anyone that we have many people fleeing the state of Illinois to move to Texas permanently because it's a state that is growing and successful. But in this instance, we have a few people from Texas coming to Illinois for very different reasons. I think a question that I would ask the governor is what is his view on a resolution that I just filed for a constitutional amendment to impose the same quorum requirements on the Illinois General Assembly that the state of Texas has. Texas has a 2/3 quorum requirement. We have a simple majority. If the governor is so happy with what's taking place in Texas and helping those legislators, I hope he would support having the same quorum requirements in the Illinois General Assembly.
Well, I asked the governor that yesterday, his thoughts on, since he says the Texas Democrats breaking the 2/3 quorum down in Texas, halting the Texas House from advancing legislation, doing the job of the Texas taxpayers. If he thinks it's heroic that they're breaking that quorum, why not bring that type of quorum here to the state of Illinois?
You know, I haven't looked at it. These are rules of the House that they'll have to determine for themselves. I understand, but I mean, I think the House will make a determination about what they want. Put that out. As you said, there's a bill. I haven't looked at it. I don't have an opinion about it today.
So, again, he has an opinion on the hero move that the Texas Democrats are using to break that two-thirds quorum, the number of people needed in order for business to go through the state of Texas legislature. Why not implement that here in Illinois? Illinois General Assembly can have business done if it's a simple majority, 51%. But what about having two-thirds instead to really make it crucial that legislators show up and do the job of the taxpayer? Pritzker doesn't have an opinion on that. All of this, of course, with Pritzker being in the spotlight as much as he's been in this conversation and beyond, it's got Representative Spain saying essentially he believes that Pritzker's running for president.
And I have no doubt that Governor Pritzker will run for president. But in the meantime, we have a state to run here. And we have a lot of challenges in the state of Illinois. We have not been on the right track during his administration. And so we need assistance, support, leadership, moral clarity, and less hypocrisy, quite frankly, from Governor Pritzker.
Again, we'll be watching this. It's going to be the story of the summer as the State Fair kicks off. The butter cow's open. The ribbon's going to be cut today, and the politicking is going to be heavy. And we'll be there for it. Be sure to follow along. With the Center Square, go to the website, get the headlines in your inbox each and every weekday morning, and get the podcast where you get podcasts. But you can wake up with us here with YouTube and the Center Square each and every weekday morning, and join the live chat. Lively bunch of people sounding off on these issues and more. So make that happen, all right? It's Illinois in Focus Daily.